little insight into the brain here at the channel, or lack of, I guess we should say, the lack of brain here at the channel. But this is basically how I Welcome back to the workbench, where we try to make things. What we're continuing to try to make today is Revell's Ford FD-100 pickup, the Foose design kit they put out a while back, and we're doing this, well, quite a bit different. And if you'd like to get caught up on those differences, there's a link down in the description to a playlist where it'll get you caught up on all the differences we got going on here with this truck, and it's quite a few. Also down in the description, there's a link to Starbond CA glue. I just want to ask a big favor. Go check it out. Go check out their site. I've got a 10% discount on that. They help support this channel, have for years. So if you guys would like to help support, just go check out the site and see if there's anything you might like, and use that discount code at checkout. Anyways, let's get back to the disaster. What probably kind of looks like a disaster right now here on the desk. And I kind of left it in this state. I was working on it. I said, you know what? I'm going to leave this in this state so you guys can get a little look in on my brain and how the thought processes go that I use for building this. Yeah, just bring you into my brain for a second. I apologize. But there's actually a lot to talk about here. First of all, we've got, well, let's actually talk about the overall. We've got the whole truck sitting completely flat on the ground. And that's because I've modified the inner fender well, which we're going to look at in just a second. But let's start at the back of the truck and we'll work our way forward. You can see in the back that I've got the fender, the rear fender, completely formed in now, or shaped in. In fact, it was roughed in, and now I'm actually doing the fine. You can see I've got the putty on it, the body putty on it, to fine tune that. So I'm just kind of filling them, fine tuning. It's at the point of basically being done. So hopefully you can kind of see how that looks, maybe from the top and from the bottom there. Moving forward, in fact, let's just go ahead. You know what well, actually, let's do this first. So moving forward, we ran into, so I've got this whole thing sitting on the ground, like I said, because I've modified the front inner fender well. So the front wheel will completely tuck in, and we ran into an issue. So let's talk about this first. The motor, two things: sitting too high. Notice I can't close the hood anymore. The reason it's sitting too high is because the front of the motor is sitting too high. It needs to, the back end needs to angle up. In fact, if I pull this off and I look under, let me see, it might be easier to see from the top. Well, you're probably not going to be able to see, but you're going to have to just trust me. So this is hitting, the tail shaft of the transmission is hitting against the, well, let me put the motor back and we'll take a closer look. The tail shaft of the motor is hitting against the tunnel. And it needs to go higher because our rear end is going to be sitting a lot higher in the chassis. So I need that tail shaft aiming higher. One, to flatten out the motor, but also so we don't have this crazy angle aiming up there. Now, we are at full squat, so it is going to have some angle, but it's going to be too much. Now, also looking, we're going to run into issues with things like this rail here from the bed, so I'm going to have to notch that out. All of these cross members, probably that one, definitely this one, and this one, are going to be shifted down towards the floor bed, or the floor of the cab. But I am going to have to cut out this tunnel and give myself more room, which is not a problem because we've got the center console going in, so I can just leave the center console as is, notch in the firewall and that tunnel, and the center console should hide all that work. I'll just clean it up on the bottom side of the truck. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's the first issue we ran into. The other issue is you can see how it is lining up with the cross member here. I actually wanted this motor to sit back a good millimeter or so more, which actually would also help with being able to angle the motor, because it gets us further back in our notches here. But in order to do that, because we've got this ram air intake thing coming around this way, it's hitting the firewall. So we're going to have to create a little bump back in the firewall. So the exciting news I had before, where I thought we weren't going to have to modify the tunnel or the firewall, are both not true. We're going to have to modify both of them. Now, you probably also saw how I've modified the inner fender wells. I kind of just removed them. Actually, I left the back. So what I did is I left the front of the fender well where it ties in to this part of the fender well here on the core support. So we have that to make that connection. And I also left the back side of the fender well because that's what's going to tie into the firewall. So I wanted to leave those, and then I just cut out the center section. And what we'll end up doing is just building in a new fender well, whether it's just box it in, or I might even look through some old kits I have to see if I have some old fenders or something like that I can just create the fender well out of, some of that effect. But we'll build that in because we're going to need to bump it up. If we look here now, you can see the tire kind of pops up into the engine compartment there, and we need something to cover that. Now, speaking of all this, let me get, I'm going to have to take some tape off. By the way, this is how I get things to stay in place temporarily. Is I literally just tape it because I want to make sure everything's exactly where it needs to be while I'm kind of mapping this out. So I just tape everything together. So let me pull, let's see, I need to get the chassis out of here. So let me just start pulling this tape off. And we'll take a look at the chassis because that's the other thing that I've kind of been working at, is we need the front suspension put in. And before I start talking about that, because it's going to be part of the discussion, I had a good comment in last episode, somebody new to the channel saying, hey, I'm excited to see what you're using for airbag. So I just wanted to bring the airbag back into conversation because it's going to be part of the conversation in this front. So we've got the rear airbag idea. Let me show it down here. It might be easier to see. Well, let's not, because that camera just cut off. So I'll show it up top. We just have styrene, styrene circles that are glued to two O-rings, rubber O-rings, and that's mimicking our collapsed airbag. And then these are going to sit back here. Of course, we're going to build in all the structure we need to hold the bags and shocks in the back. That's no problem. What's happening up front is we need to build in airbag strut combos up front. Let me move the motor out of the way so we can see a little better. So we've got this lower, sorry, I know this is getting kind of technical and whatnot, but this is the stuff we've got to do. I've got this lower cross member that's got to go in here, and then so our uprights or our spindles or whatever are going to sit a little longer. So I'm going to put a little extension piece in there. So this is going to sit like so. And then I've got to build in structure to tie in the lower A-arms, which is very simple. That's just basically bringing in, let me make sure you guys can see, bringing in a little bit of a notch structure here in the rails to hold here and up front. And then we've got this, cross member that turns, and I'm going to just turn that up into this part of the notch, okay? And then off of, if I put the motor back real quick, or just kind of show you, we can come off the notch pretty much straight across for our motor mounts. So we're going to have a good bit of structure that goes kind of in here, but it's all inside the rails, or inside, at least inside the outside of the rails. I guess it'll be all in between the outside of the rails. So that should be okay. But what I need to do now is this, by the way, this is the shock I think we're going to use. And basically I'm just going to scale this down, drill a hole in it, and then stick it on, stick it up, or I guess place the shock through that, and then probably have to take some length out of it too. So I'll probably cut these down shorter, and then that'll be our strut air shock combo, I guess, whatever you call that. But I need to build an upper shock mount off the top of the notch we've got here to hold the top of the shock, and then the lower part of the shock will tie into the lower A-arm, and then of course the airbag will sit in that space that we've kind of created by having this notch. We've kind of created that space, and in fact I might I think I'm going to probably give pretty good length to it. I've almost thought about just going all the way to the ground with it, but I think that's too far down. You know, if this was, I mean, the shock's long enough to make it happen, and just give a lot of space, but I'll probably bring it up just a little bit. I'm going to try to give a lot of space there, because we can, for the shock and airbag to kind of fit in that area right there. So anyways, that's the story on the airbags. That's the story on what I've got to do to get this to work up front. Now, the thing I have to keep in mind while doing all that is I've also got a motor that is going to be sitting about right there-ish. I always kind of judge it off the tail shaft after that's a little too far back, about right there. So when I build my shock towers, let me turn so you can make sure you can see. When I build my shock towers off the top of the notch to tie in the top of the struts, I've got to keep in mind that I've got headers and, you know, I've got motor there. So I've got to keep all that in mind. And that's why I kind of go through this process of taping everything together, getting everything exactly where it goes. By the way, over and over and over again, I'll tape it up, untape it, tape it up, untape it. I go through, I get by the way, Ollie's. I get my painter's tape at Ollie's. You can get it cheap over there. It's just cheap painter's tape. I'm not using this for painting, so I don't care if it's literally just for mock-up purposes. So I can get rolls of it for cheap. So I don't mind if I'm wasting tape. Like this tape is going to go in the trash because it's been used. It's not going to hold very much anymore. Goes in the trash. And I use a lot of painter's tape to make it happen, hold everything together, so I can make sure everything's going to fit. But anyways, that's where we're at. Very long-winded one today. Little insight into the brain here at the channel, or lack of, I guess we should say, the lack of brain here at the channel. But this is basically how I get things done. Let me know how you do it down in the description. You kind of go through the same process as I do. We have some issues we didn't think we were going to have that we're going to have to figure out. So we'll get that done. And issues mainly surrounding the motor and the motor location and placement. But let me know what you think down in the description. I need to get back at this. So hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up with this. Hit the like button. Hit the hype button. Check out Starbond down in the description. There is a kind of a bonus that I could get. So if you want to just go check it out, please do. You know, it's up to you. But of course, if you would, it would help out the channel. I don't know. Do all those things everybody tells you to do on YouTube. I got a lot to do. I got to get back at it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.